All right, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Success Over Statistics podcast. Super excited for this week's episode. I mentioned to you all that we were going to have a special guest, and this is something relatively new that we're trying here on the show, which is bringing in guests who could bring another perspective to our conversations. So I'm excited. We have Lawrence Harris with us here today. He's a youth empowerment speaker and an author. He actually reached out, or his team reached out to us and told us that he was, like a 20-year-old motivational speaker. And that took me back when I really want to, hear more about his story and how he got into this. And I'm excited to bring him to you all. So I mentioned he's a speaker and an author. He helps teens and young adults believe in themselves, think differently about their future, and make better choices. And our theme for this entire month of August has been making better choices with your finances. We've been talking about budgeting. We've been talking about what to do that first year after becoming a parent. So I want to dig more into mindset and how to help you all be more confident in yourselves as you're going through those transitions now that you're a parent. So Lawrence, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us more about you?
Yes, I do. On the first point, it wasn't my team that reached out; it was me.
Oh,
Right now, right now I don't have team money yet. One day I
okay.
will, but not yet.
Super
So
professional. I thought your team did it.
yeah, I've been doing this for about 5 years. So in that process, I've learned a whole lot about how to email people, how to contact people. But the $1 million question people have is, well, you're 20 years old doing this. What was 15-year-old Lawrence? What made him decide, I'm going to hop on the internet and start talking about this? Well, for most of my life, I faced challenges like severe bullying, living with autism, childhood abuse, mental health challenges, getting kicked out at 13. Life was pretty messy for quite a while. And through all of those challenges, through the help of therapists, the help of family, and a lot of tough conversations with myself, I was able to start getting better. And at 15, I didn't have all the answers whatsoever. I was nowhere near as well developed as I am today. But I knew something. I knew I could help somebody somehow. And I just started making little TikToks. And those TikToks turned to YouTube videos. Those YouTube videos turned into volunteering at churches, speaking at schools and organizations. And now I'm the guy that people see today.
Let's talk about that because the youngest we work with teen moms. For those who don't know, this podcast is an extension of my organization, Teen Moms Matter. The youngest mom that we've had come to us was 13. And so I want to talk about what 15-year-old Lawrence looked like, or what was that transition for you. Before we even get to the transition, can you tell us a little bit more about your struggle? When
So,
did you arrive to a point where you knew I need to do something to try to get better?
well, honestly, I got to that point at 12 where you, it's a little hard to put it into words to people who haven't dealt with things like this, but there is a very big difference between I just feel sad and upset and I feel like nothing will ever get better. And at 12 years old, you don't have the language to explain this. You don't know how to articulate the fact that you don't feel anything. And I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't explain it. Like I couldn't explain to my family what's really going on inside of me. So
Mm.
that's why my mom got me into therapy because she was able to recognize that Lawrence is a lot more quiet all of a sudden. He's not as talkative. He's not going outside as much. His room is absolutely filthy. It was blatantly obvious to myself and everyone else around me that I needed help.
And what are you able to share, like going through therapy, what did you realize what the issue was? Can you articulate it now for the
Yeah.
young people who might be watching, or the parents who are watching and they don't have the words for it yet, or the language?
So the language for it is when children feel extremely unsafe and it's their parents who are hurting them. As a child, your parent is, you view them as your kind of like a god to you. Not in like a religious sense, but like they are your caretaker. They're the reason you have a house over your head. They make sure that you eat. So when the person who is supposed to be your safety is your danger, it does a lot of damage to you mentally. And because you don't know how to express the way you feel, to a lot of people, they hear words like, you're being emotional, you're being dramatic, it's not that deep, toughen up, boy, don't cry, all that sort of stuff. And it only makes the problem worse. And you start to withdraw yourself because you don't know how to express yourself. And you also don't feel safe doing it. And the term for what I was dealing with, like the clinical term for it, was complex post traumatic stress disorder, where your brain pretty much always thinks something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to learn how to teach yourself and teach your mind and your body that it's okay to be safe again.
Absolutely. Okay, you pulling out the mirror because I can relate to this in so many ways. I've talked about my childhood with my mom and how that was something very similar that I went through. And I had to teach my nervous system as a mom, becoming a mom at 17 myself, that we're safe now. We're not in that danger. And that's such a hard thing to do. It takes, I say this all the time. I really didn't learn it until I got in my 30s. So I commend you for being here in your 20s, and finding a way through. And I commend your mom for what she did to help you. It's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
It
Because
is.
it's like when I tell people some of the stories of how I used to act, they're like, there's no way you used to do that.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I have self-sabotaged countless relationships with people who were absolutely perfect for me because a part of me felt like they're too good for me. They need someone better than me. That's what was going through my mind. Which sounds so backwards now, like, why don't you just be happy with that person? But when you grow up in an environment where people are telling you that you're no good and you're a problem and all these things, you start to feel like loving you is a burden and
Yes.
you push people away.
Yep.
But the weird thing is, you want people to love you. You just
Yes.
don't feel like you deserve it.
You crave it.
Um,
It's almost like an addiction. You crave somebody to love you like that, but you don't think you're lovable. It's such a,
yeah, it's
it's a
like,
complex, like you said.
and if someone asks you, well, do you want someone to love you? Yeah, of course I want that. Then why do you not let them? Because
Right.
I'm scared that they're not going, I'm scared they're going to stop loving me. So I'm going to not let them love me to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like with the theme of finances, because
Mm-hmm.
this is a big thing too. A lot of people, their spending habits, we inherited that from our parents, where we saw mom and dad spending money a certain way. So without even knowing it, we start doing that. And it's like you have to kind of reparent yourself in order to move past certain things.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into that. I want to put a pin right there in what you said about the financial habits, because that's one thing we talk about with our young moms. And we have some teen dads that have been reaching out too. I just want to say that teen dads, we see you. That's another reason I wanted Lawrence to come on the show, because we have a lot of teen dads that are reaching out that want to work with us as well. And I wanted to give you all like another perspective, or someone who could speak, to both sides of being a young person that's dealing with these changes mentally, as you go through, these altering life events. So we're going to put a pin in that about the money. But I want to ask you, Lawrence, once you got to the space, once you did start going to therapy, can you talk to us about how you made those changes? You knew the issues were there. You saw, what was going on. How did you get yourself to exhibit new behaviors?
So the first one was acknowledging and understanding what is the current behavior I'm doing. Not to judge it, but just to strictly acknowledge, here's what's happening. My room is very dirty. Not judging, it's just, this is what it is. Now, what's the behavior that I want? I want a clean room. I want to have healthy relationships. I want to feel safe. This is the change I want. And you also have to understand, well, what got you to this point of, okay, the experiences I went through with my dad got me to this point. The things I saw and dealt with growing up, that's the root cause. So you start reminding yourself, firstly, that easier said than done, but you're not that kid anymore. You're not there anymore. You remind yourself over and over, it's okay to be safe. And that's where you also have to remind your body that it's okay to be safe. Like when those feelings come up, those fears come up, in the moment, you just remind yourself it's okay to be safe. And you start to have change behaviors that way. You also keep track of things. So for me, journaling helped a lot where you uncover the root cause, you uncover what change you want to make. You understand, well, why is it hard for me to make that change? And you start very small. It's very cliche, but it works. Take baby steps. Instead of trying to, let's say, save $20,000 by changing your financial habits, you can start with something as small as whenever you get a paycheck, before you spend money, put money into a savings account. Or whenever you feel upset, instead of punching a wall, buy a stress ball and squeeze it.
That's so good. That's so good with the small steps. I also think it's a willingness to want to do it, because I think a lot of times, I know that was my issue, where I knew I needed to make the change. I didn't want necessarily to face all that would come with me making that change. I didn't want someone to shine that light on me, because I was so deep in feeling unsafe, and I was so deep into feeling shame and low self-esteem because of the words that parent had put in my head. And so that was a fear for me, just even facing the reality of the type of person that I was. And I
Yeah.
think once you get to a point where you say, you know what, um, I'm willing to take that leap, whatever it takes for me to start making these changes and seeing different results. You have to get to a point where you're kind of tired of yourself the way
Yeah.
you are. Like you have to get to a point where you're fed up, so to speak,
Yeah.
and you want to live something different. And just listening to you tell the story, I realize I'm just like seeing myself through what you're sharing. I realize how much I've worked over the years to build my own version of safety. That's very important, building a life where you feel safe, especially when you come from a childhood where danger was your everyday reality in your head, whether that was true or not.
Yeah, and something that you mentioned in there that like I want to say so people like don't let that slide away
Yeah.
is the fact that you have to get to a point where you are tired of how you currently are.
Yep.
It's not about saying like I'm no good and I'm a failure. It's not about that. It's about acknowledging, okay, because of my abandonment issues, I will use myself as an example.
Hmm.
Because of my abandonment issues in the past, I was self-sabotaging my relationships. I was pushing people away. I was withdrawing myself from family. At the present time, I was self-sabotaging relationships, pushing family away, afraid to talk to people, not fully opening up to my therapist. And if I stay like this in the future, I'm going to keep doing that. It's going to keep getting worse and it's going to just keep going down. Do I want that? No. Okay, so I have to change. And yeah, it's scary to change because sometimes you get comfortable in the discomfort, whereas I'm so familiar with it that getting better is scary. But once you see how if I keep staying on the track I'm on, it's only going to get worse, it makes it easier to get off because you know that if I keep doing what I'm already doing, it's going to keep getting worse. So, option A, do something that you know will keep getting worse. Option B, do something that is scary but could be better. And that point comes for people in different ways. Like for me, because I don't have children yet, it came in the form of my younger siblings. Like looking at my younger siblings and seeing, is this the example I want to set for them? Is this what I want to show them? Like, do I want to be in the future, 35 years old, still pushing people away, toxic habits? Is that what I want to show them? No. Other people, it's their children. Like, I got a baby. I don't want to, treat my child how I was treated. Other people, it comes in the form of like a parent gets sick and you have to step up to help them. Other people, it comes in the form of like religion. Other people, it comes in the form of some like major life event of some other kind. But at the end of the day, you got to be willing to do the uncomfortable thing to get better, even if it's scary.
Absolutely. That was well said. Thank you for sharing. I want to kind of ground this because we talked about, what you were going through when you knew it was time for a shift and then how you made the changes. Can you talk to the young person, or let me say this, for those who are watching this who may be in those teen years, they may be a expecting parent or already a parent, talk to them about like the world, the environment that we're living in now, because not only may they be dealing with these issues internally at home, their environment, then we have to go out and deal with like this job market, what's
Yeah.
going on. And so you have that layer on top of it. Can you talk to that person or that young person who's trying to navigate the world right now and give them, some practical advice like on what they can
All right.
do to start finding that safety?
All right. So, first off, I would say create a vision of what you want your life to be like. So, that doesn't mean you need to have every single detail planned out of it. It's just here is the kind of place I want to live. Here's the kind of person I want to be. Here's the kind of life that I want. Because if we don't have a direction on where we're trying to get, we're going to be like a boat just getting blown left and right. And the world will do that. You go on social media, there's gossip, there's all this chaos going on, the job market. Like you said, it's getting a job at McDonald's
It's
is
insane.
hard.
Right.
Like,
It's
like
hard.
it's hard to get a job at
Yes.
McDonald's nowadays.
Yes.
And I'm saying that as somebody who used to work at McDonald's. It's hard to get a job flipping burgers nowadays. But regardless of how hard it may be, we got to first create like a plan or an idea of what do I want my life to be like. And firstly, address the base needs, like your survival, like food, water, shelter. That could be looking into resources. Like if maybe, 'cause I'm thinking of like a teen parent who they just told their parents, like, hey, mom, hey, dad, I'm about to have a child. And unfortunately, a lot of them end up getting kicked out the house. So easier said than done, but shelters, a community center, a YMCA. If you got to take showers at Planet Fitness, address your survival first. Then after that, we move into more long-term ideas. So maybe that could be if you, the mother and father, are still together, one of you could like do night classes so you could get a better paying job that allows financial support for the family. Another person is taking care of the child during the day, whatever worked for you too. And then from there, you can find programs like yours where you guys help people with this exact thing. Because you're 17, 18, 19, you don't know what you're doing, honestly. You got to get advice from somebody who does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to add to that one thing too. Like you said, and I kind of want you to tell, you were put out or kicked out or something as a young person. Is that true?
Yeah. So I got kicked out and disowned by my dad, ended up living with my mom full time. So thankfully, I wasn't ever like, shelter homeless or like, on the street living. It
Yeah.
was more so like a one sided kicked out thing.
Okay. I want, if you will, and I kind of want you to share that.
For
Like,
sure.
tell us what that looked like from that time frame to now. How did you get to the space where you are now, where I'm certain you have a level of stability, and not only that, you're building like a business that you obviously love. So, what was that journey like for those who may just need the inspiration? To be honest.
So for me, thankfully, since I wasn't like, it wasn't like the bottom of the barrel. It was more so that the feeling of abandonment where one of your parents no longer wants to even be around you, doesn't want to acknowledge you, like it really does this damage on your feeling of safety. Because even though I was living with my mom, in the back of my head there was always this thought of what if one day she wakes up, decides I no longer want to deal with him, and then I'm on the streets. Like there would be times when I would have this like reoccurring nightmare of that happening, and I just never really felt fully safe because of the possibility of that happening. And the way that I started to get out of that thought was reminding myself, okay, Lawrence, yes, it is possible that will happen, but we have evidence that she won't do that. And I would have to kind of force myself to focus on the reasons why she won't do that instead of all these things my mind would try to convince me of. And the way that I, built a sense of stability for myself was honestly the first thing I did was journaling. I just had to get mentally stable first. Like I had a whole lot of anger and thoughts and things piled up that
Yeah.
I just had to get them out of my head. Mental stability was the first thing. Then when it came to, life stability, I found some habits I enjoy, like going for a walk, reading books, fishing. I had to get stable in my mind, get stable in my spirit, and then you start getting stable in the outside things like financially. That's when you get your first job, or you go to trade school and become a plumber, or you start a business or something. But at the core, it all starts with getting your mind right in order to start getting your habits and your life right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you said earlier about, if you do get to the point, for anyone who's watching and maybe going through this, if you do get to the point where it's like on the streets, unhoused, that's the situation, address your survival needs first. Food, shelter, water, address
Yes.
your survival needs first. And then, like Lauren said, journaling also was one of those tools. I think it's a critical resource if you ask me my personal opinion. Journaling was a way to just release it. I think a lot of times we get into these mental instability. We get this place of mental. We get to a place of being mentally unstable when we don't have anywhere to release what's going on internally. So that journal can serve as just a place. If you don't have anyone to talk to or you don't trust family, that journal is a place for you to just let go and
Yeah.
really evaluate where you are. And at times, when we were at our lowest, it was just a place for me to write, to be grateful. Having that like 5 minutes a day just to be grateful. helped me build, to be honest. It gave me a place to build from. So Lawrence, can you we're coming here, I guess, to the end, and before we wrap up, I want you to share, what do you do now to help organizations, to help spread the message to like our young people about mental well-being, and how can people work with you if they're interested in having you in their organization?
Well, a lot of ways. So I primarily go into schools, youth organizations, mental health groups, all those sorts of things, where I speak on the subjects of, okay, how do you actually believe in yourself? How do you actually start to change your habits and the way that you behave so that you have healthier coping skills and so you can manage your mental health better and you can ultimately create a life you enjoy? I go to organizations and speak about those sorts of things. I write books on these subjects. I make YouTube videos on it. I do one-on-one coaching for people. I mean, I'm a man of many talents.
Good.
Now, if somebody wants to find that stuff, all my social medias and YouTube are Lawrence C. Empowers. And if you're looking to have me on your podcast, speak at your school or organization, you can contact me at lawrencechharris.com.
Any last words of wisdom that you would want to share?
I would definitely say that it's okay to ask for help. Whether you are a teen parent listening to this, about to be a teen parent, or you're just a person in general, parent or not, it's okay to ask for help. Like, that might mean asking your family. It might mean asking your therapist or getting a therapist or a pastor, rabbi, imam, whatever. It's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, for coming on the show, just for your time today. And I think you solely doing this work, just showing a face to like the younger, what I mean, to the generation,
Yes.
to the younger generation, and showing them like, hey, I had issues, I worked through them, and look where I am now. I think even you just getting up here and being the face of that is extremely powerful. So I appreciate your time, and hopefully we can have you on the show in future episodes.
Thank you. I mean, you already have my email. You can easily contact me.
All right, guys, we're gonna see you for the next episode. Please share this out with someone who may need this. Invite Lawrence onto your podcast. Invite him to speak at your school, and we will see you guys for the next episode of Success Over Statistics. Bye.